Yo, yo. Shout out everybody tuning in. Let's see who we got in here. Buyer seller first. Shout out to buyer seller being first in the chat. Shout out Andrew Nance. We got Dundaughter in the building. Big up. What up, big homie? Shout out to Otto. Yo, what up? Hope everyone's doing great. I'm doing great, homie, and I hope you are too. What it do? What it do, homie? Shout out Tony M. Shout out Space Kid. Bryce Mitchell, baby. Yeah, so it's a Bryce Mitchell fight week. Let me get this screen going here. Okay, so yeah, Bryce Mitchell fight week, boys. I mean, arguably bigger than the main event itself, right? But let's just go to Tapology, I guess, for now. Honestly, it's like not the worst fight card in the world, honestly. Honestly, not the worst fight card in the world. Can you explain the Kai Asakura stuff? Yes, I will. I'll explain that. I'll definitely explain that, Mason. Mason 2 Mills. Sherdog is so much better than Tapology for viewing records. Why so? Why is that? Anyway, I mean, we got a lot of good fights coming up this weekend. Let's just go over it real quick. Maybe I'll even do picks at some point in time just because it's a bit of a not much to go over today. But I got a few things for you guys, and honestly, should I be making my own headlines? Asking me to cover that Kai Asakura situation? I will. And no one else will because no one else can create a headline for that. Yeah, I'm only here for the Kai Asakura news. Well, I got you. You know, we've been speaking about it. I spoke about it on Saturday when he got his win. And I said, Kai Asakura, this is how he looks. He's supposed to be at 135, but the UFC forced him to cut weight and they forced him to sign at 125. And Kai Asakura, he proved it. He proved my point. He confirmed what I've been saying. As, per usual. That usually always happens, but we'll play that. But just let's go over this fight card. We don't really care about these women's fights, really. But Jordan Levitt, Joe Anderson, Brito, that's a good fight, right? Great fight. Brito, his weakness is the jits. No. Brito's actually a beast. He did, what's his name? He did Jonathan Pierce dirty as fuck. So Brito actually has good jiu-jitsu. I was confusing him with Jonathan Pierce for a second. Because Jonathan Pierce was beating Brito this whole fight, right? And then Brito just caught him out of nowhere. So Brito's got good jiu-jitsu. And going up against a jiu-jitsu guy in Jordan Levitt, I don't think Levitt's going to have what it takes to finish this dude. And then it's like Levitt don't really got it on the feet like that, right? So Brito does have it on the feet like that. 6-3 in the UFC. 6-3 in the UFC. Levitt coming off that decision win over Yadier Del Valle. Kurt Hollabaugh. These are decent wins, but they're not the best wins. Going through this. Once again, though, or not once again, but just a friendly reminder. Everybody tuning in, make sure you run up the likes on the stream. If you're new to the stream, make sure you subscribe. Get subbed up to the channel. I was going to say that today was the 100th consecutive day of going live, but it's not. It's like the 97th. So, Wednesday. Wednesday will be my 100-day commencement of 100 days straight of live streaming. All right. So, yeah, tap in Wednesday for the 100-day celebration. 100 days straight. No misses, bro. No misses. 100 days straight. That's crazy work, honestly. And then before I started the 100-day streak, I was already on like a 5 or 7 day streak. So like in the last like 100 something days, I've taken like 1 day off. Nice, 97. Yeah, 97 days. 97 days live. So I just wanted to run that by you guys real quick, let you know. But continuing on this, we got Chelsea Chandler. She's hardly worth speaking about just because we know the deal with her. Tuxedo says, "Bro, you were all like, I'm done. Now you're going for 100." Tux, I thought I kind of Tux. I don't know if you checked out like after last Sunday. Thank you for a $2 dono, by the way. But I told you, homie, it was like, I'm just filling everybody in on the situation. And but then I doubled down and I said, fuck it, bro. Fuck it, bro. I feel like I've come too far to take a little pause now. So there's no way in hell we're taking a pause. There's just no way in hell. And maybe I am crazy, but shit, I mean, shit, maybe I am, there's no but. It's just like shit, maybe I am crazy. But yeah, there's no done. We're going for the 100. And basically my assessment of all of this is that, like, over the last 90 days during this streak that we've been having, it's been like, lackluster. All the cards have been kind of lackluster. There hasn't been a lot of good stuff going. But it's like, shit, bro, I'm not going to let that get me down. We got a lot of good stuff coming up, second half of 2026. That's what I'm looking forward to. We not looking back. Okay, we're not looking at the past. We're not dwelling on the past. We're looking forward to the future. Okay, and as we're looking forward to the future, we're excited. We're doubling down, bro. All the work we've done, we're just doubling down into the second half of 2026. We'll figure it out later. But like I said, hopefully we don't got to figure that out later, because getting a job is one of the gayest things a man can do. We all know that by now. We all know that by now. So, that's it. That's it. We're doubling down. I mean, shit, I've told you guys that like 7 or 8 times since last Sunday, that we are straight doubling down. Go for 111 days, Brandon. How come America first? What's the significance of 111? Let's go, baby. Been here since day one. Shout out Gravy. Much appreciated, homie. And much appreciation to my man Space Kid for being in here every day as well. You can get burnt out every now and then. Comes with the territory. Yeah, I was a little bit burnt, and I might even get burnt in the future. But it's just like I don't really give a shit. And I'm looking forward, bro. We got UFC White House, like I say. We got UFC White House. We got now I'm just drawing a blank. It's crazy. But we got UFC White House. We got the return of the Mac, Conor McGregor, Max Holloway. We got Islam Makhachev, right, coming back to fight Ian Gary, most likely after Conor, Max. So those are 3 big fights. 3 big fights. We probably got the return of Sean Strickland before the end of this year. The rematch with Hamzat, most likely. So that's what I got to say about that a little bit. We got a lot of good things to look forward to, and I don't give a shit about what happened over the last 90 days. We're focused on the future. Tux, thank you for the other $2 dono. Says, bro, get veneers. It will signal boost you to 100K. Will it? Honestly, that's so funny, because people who get veneers, I do stare at them longer just to like see. Like AB, I was looking at more videos of him. I'm like, does that dude have veneers? It gets me to look a little bit longer. Do not get veneers, LMFAO. Haha. Nah, I don't need veneers. I got decent teeth. My top teeth are chilling, but the bottom teeth are a little crooked, so I don't think anyone notices shit. Otto goes, LOL, you a job, you crazy. Yeah, come on, Otto. Oh, a job, yeah, crazy. Yeah, bro. Bro, fuck. I'm not, fuck all that shit. Honestly, you guys know that. You guys know that. Fuck that shit, bro. We're gonna get to the money on here. That's just the plan. Brandon will get a gold grill when he reaches 100K subs. Would I? Honestly, I got more chance of getting a gold grill than veneers. We get to watch Brandon Allen get knocked out. You think he will get knocked out, Shiloh? Otto says, I know, I'm just playing. No, Otto, you're keeping a buck, bro. You're keeping it a buck. A job is crazy. Tuxedo, thank you for the $5 dono, homie. Much appreciated. He goes, unemployed? No. Fun employed. Fun employed shit. Call that self-employed. Fun employed and self-employed is like the same shit. There's no way he doesn't get knocked out. Well then, honestly, I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'm kind of looking forward to Brendan Allen getting knocked out if that's the case. I don't like how Brendan Allen was like glazing up Hamzat like that during fight camp. I thought that was pretty lame. Anyway, let's continue. Bruno Silva, Edgar Chairez. Edgar Chairez, you know, he throws up the set every time, whatever it is, something like this. You know, like an upside down W. But Edgar Chairez, he throws up the set every time he steps on that scale. You know, we rocking with him. Nobody really fucks with Bruno Silva. Guy's a 500 UFC fighter. Now, that's not the worst thing in the world. A lot of people are 500 UFC fighters, but Bruno Silva is just nothing. Nothing burger. So Marcus McGee versus John Giannis. Never heard of John Giannis. 1-1 in the UFC. Marcus 4-1, coming off his first loss to Peter Yan. Almost a year out the cage. Jacob Wicklax pulled out of this fight due to an injury. So in steps John Giannis. John Giannis probably going to get killed. 10-4. Just not good enough. Just not good enough for my man Marcus McGee. I'm telling you guys that now. Shout out to Andrew Nance for dropping some jewels. Shout out to Shiloh for dropping some jewels. Much appreciated, homies. Wait, I don't get it. Oh, shit. Fun employed. We not unemployed. We fun employed. Edmund Shabazian will save all of us. Yeah. If I lose a tooth at this point, I'll get a gold one. Get some golds. All right, so Iwo Barnowski, Junior Tafa. I mean, I heard Junior signed a new deal or some lame ass shit like that. He's coming off a win over Kevin Christian, but this dude's the worst thing to come into the UFC, I swear. I could sub this dude. His strength of schedule is an 18. Iwo Barnowski. Just like knocking dudes out in the first round, in the first minute. Muhammad Ali knockout, Austin Lane knockout. I mean, not too much to write home about. Ibo Aslan knockout. And then before contender knockout. All of his wins are by first round knockout. And Junior Tafa will be no different. But this is good matchmaking by the UFC. Double Worlds again coming in here saying, bro, you're a goof for deleting my comments on your videos. All I really care to say is that you can Double Worlds. I'll just say one thing to you. It's like you know, you can come in here, you can get mad at me, you can comment all the goofy ass shit you want to do, but one thing is for certain. You're using my lingo, and that just is confirmation. That's just confirmation that no matter what you say, you know what I mean? You love me and you fuck with me, and you know what I mean? It's just as simple as that. So you can say, bro, you're a goof for deleting my comments on your videos, which isn't even true. I don't even delete your comments. You delete your own comments. But I just want you to know, Double Worlds, that you love me, homie. You absolutely love me, even though you don't want to admit it. Okay? And I just want you to know that about yourself. You know, and you're more than welcome to use the lingo anytime. You know, goofball, you know, it's excellent lingo. So feel free to use it. But I'm just letting you know, if you really despised me, you wouldn't be talking like me. So, Double Worlds, make of that what you will. What did he delete? Double, quote it verbatim. Bro, what the now we got people asking. That's why it's like, bro, this guy just comes in here and confuses shit. He's like an agent of chaos. Hey, shout out Andrew Nance and Shiloh for dropping all these jewels, though. They just keep dropping them. Their Double Worlds goes again, deleting his message. BS, bro. No, it's not BS. You use my lingo because you like me. I am the owner of this chat. You're the owner of your mom, homie. That's what you're the owner of. And I'm not even a fan of mom jokes, but it's just like Double World's such an idiot. Double Dummy, such an idiot. It's like we gotta run it sometimes. Anyway, Matt Schnell. I guess this dude's back out of retirement again versus Alessandro Costa. Honestly, I'm not too familiar with Alessandro Costa. Somebody fill me in. Deleted my comment about Israel. He sold out. I never deleted shit. Frez ZM, Tom Nolan. Now this is great matchmaking. Great matchmaking. Frez ZM 8-2. Lost to Terrence McKinney and Don Madge. But I mean, this was years ago. Last loss comes in 2022. Lost his debut to Don Madge in 2019. Since then, right, he's riding a 3, 4, 5, 6 win streak in the UFC. Frezium is the truth. He's like my number one prospect at lightweight, to be honest with you guys. Way over Tom Nolan. Tom Nolan is not my number one prospect at lightweight. I don't know who needs to hear that, but Tom Nolan is not my number one prospect at lightweight. He's good, but he's not even close to Faraz ZM's level, in my opinion. Faraz ZM has a massive win over an excellent world-class fighter, underappreciated, underrespected, and he's pretty inactive, so it does come with the territory. But Mike Davis, you know, UD'd Mike Davis. You UD Mike Davis, right? You earn my respect. Nazim Sadikov stopped him as well. Nazim does not get stopped. Stopped his ass. Stopped his ass. Last time Nazim got stopped was in his debut. So for Azim, he's the truth, bro. This dude's the truth. This dude's the truth, and he's going to show it on a Saturday. Minus 300 favorite. I will put the house on this dude. Tuck says, can you please do a stream with the brawler figure balanced on top of your head? No. No, I will not, homie. Does he finish Nolan, though? Honestly, Ferez gets a lot of decisions. So, I don't know. I don't know. But he is finding finishes as of late. You know, he finished Matt Frivola. He finished Nazim Sadikov. So, maybe, maybe not. How does Tom Nolan lose? Tom Nolan got one loss. How'd he lose? Oh, ground strikes in the first by Nicholas Mota. That's embarrassing, number one. And number two, yeah, he could probably stop him. He's French, though. No, I get it, Tony Sal, but he's the truth, bro. He's the truth. Nolan going to get smoked. Yeah, Nolan is going to get smoked. Shout out Space Gift for dropping some jewels. Want to make sure I'm thanking everybody who's supporting. Shout out to Andrew. Shout out to Shiloh once again for dropping some jewels in the chat. Yeah, Nolan getting smoked. Oh, but back to it. Let's go through the whole card. So then we got Brandon Allen, Edmund Shabazian. Edmund 9-5 in the UFC. Honestly, after he was going on a bad streak of losses, I kind of like checked out. But yeah, he's piled together 3 wins. Dylan Budka, Andre Petrosky, Andre Muniz. Honestly, not bad work. Making his first appearance of 2026 against Brandon Allen. Park pulled out of a fight with him due to an injury. Interesting. Brandon Allen versus Edmund. I think Edmund is going to beat Brandon Allen. What is the odds on this? Oh, Allen a minus 230 favorite. This is Edmund's time to show that he belongs. If Edmund cannot beat Brandon Allen, you might as well cut him. Or just, you know, drop him down to gatekeeper. Demote him down to gatekeeper. Connor back, baby. He going to win. I don't know about that one, Tux. You think Connor's beat my man McGregor? Yeah, so Allen coming off a win over Vittoria and RDR. Also has not fought since last year. October. Both of them have not fought since October of last year. Brandon Allen might have been getting his ass took to town by Hamza on all training camp. So I'm going to go with Edmund. Edmund probably gets his ass took to town as well. by Strickland in the gym. But I'm gonna go Edmund. I'm gonna go Edmund. I'll keep it real though. I just don't think I just don't I just don't like Brandon Allen glazing up Hamzat the way he did. I think that Americans should stick together more. I think Brandon Allen, I don't want to be so rude. This is crazy, but it's like just the whole Brandon Allen and Hamzat thing, it's like kind of spineless. It was kind of spineless, bro. Now it's not nearly as goofy as when Khalil Roundtree, started becoming spineless after his rounds with Hamzat. Thinking he made it, thinking he just a big massive star now because he'd been sparring Hamzat, showing up in all the reels on IG. But like, Brendan Allen was a step below that. He was a step below that. It wasn't as cringe or corny as Khalil. Khalil basically took on a whole new ego after his loss to Pereira and then after sparring Hamzat. Like this dude takes on a new ego every time he fights somebody that he looks up to. But Allen, same thing a little bit, just a little bit spineless, a little bit spineless. So, especially with how close Allen's fight was with Strickland and Curtis, there's no way Shabazian can't find his shot. Yeah, I would say the main thing with Shabazian is he mentally there? Can Shabazian mentally hang with Brandon? That's what it's going to come down to. I don't doubt that Shabazian has the skill. And honestly, I would even apply this to Joaquin Buckley too. I don't think that it's a lack of skill. I think it's a lack of mentally locking in that moment in time and showing up in that exact moment. Can Shabazian do it? We will see. As of late, he's been doing it, not nearly against the competition that Brandon Allen is. They both stopped Andre Muniz, though, in the first round. So, I mean, seems like they're on the same level, right? They're making the same quick work of the same guy. Allen fought tougher competition. Allen does show up. See, this is the difference too. I'll say Allen does show up, and Allen does deliver. You're gonna have to beat the best Brandon Allen. And the thing about Edmund Shabazian is you don't always got to beat the best Edmund. You just got to beat Edmund, right? But the best Edmund is a 50-50 whether he shows up to the cage or not. So, I mean, I'll give you guys that. With all that being said, I'm going Edmund, but he is a bit of a head case, and he has not shown that he could beat a guy like Brandon Allen. So we are kind of shooting in the dark by predicting Edmund, for the record. Oh, and I think I completely glossed over this one, but Bryce Mitchell, Santiago Luna. Let's go back real quick. I did completely gloss over this. Bryce Mitchell, Santiago Luna. This is a good fight right here. For anyone who isn't familiar with Santiago Luna's work, I mean, you guys know how critical I am of people in the UFC and of the talent that they sign, right? I'm very critical of people hyping up fighters too soon. Okay, now I'm not saying Santiago Luna is going to be the next world champion, but I'm saying Santiago Luna is a world-class fighter and he belongs to be in the UFC. He belongs in the UFC. So him getting Bryce Mitchell, if you guys aren't familiar with Luna, he deserves the fight. His last bout in February, I mean, dude showed out. Go back and watch that shit. It's on Paramount. Go back and watch Santiago Luna's last fight against Angel Pacheco and tell me this dude don't got some serious skills behind him. I think he got more skills on the feet than Bryce for damn sure. And arguably, in the wrestling department as well. Now, Bryce is really good in jiu-jitsu. And he is pretty good with wrestling takedowns as well. Bryce is pretty good with them. So I won't necessarily chalk it up to Luna being better than Bryce in the wrestling department. But I would say Luna's better than Bryce on the feet. Bryce better than Luna in jiu-jitsu. And they're both good at wrestling. That's kind of what I've sussed out from this. Bryce might be better than Luna in wrestling. Luna might prove to be better than Bryce in wrestling. It might even be 50-50. These guys might score takedowns on each other. One guy might just score another takedown or something like that, But they're both good at wrestling. Bryce is a quote-unquote real black belt. No, Bryce is legit. Bryce is a real black belt for sure. I would never take that away from him. And I just said, he's the better grappler. The better jiu-jitsu artist in this fight is Bryce. The better striker in this fight is Santiago Luna. They both got wrestling. Go watch the last fight. Santiago showed it. And it's like, to be honest, if Santiago is good enough at wrestling, he might just be able to keep it on the feet. With all that being said, I really probably should go with Santiago Luna, but I think there's just something still left in Bryce Thug Nasty Mitchell. I think there's something still left in Bryce Thug Nasty Mitchell. Is he the only one who's taken down Ilia Topuria in the UFC, by the way? I believe Bryce is the only guy who's ever taken down Ilia in the UFC. Someone correct me on that if I'm wrong, but I know that Santiago Luna might have the better advantage because the fight stands on the feet and Santiago is better on the feet. But this isn't the first time or the best striker Bryce has ever faced in his life. I think Bryce got this one. But Santiago Luna is legit. He's legit. He's a great fighter. And I respect Santiago Luna for the record. You know, I'm picking against him, but I respect him. And I really have nothing against him. Bilal versus Bonfim. Bro, something just tells me that Bonfim's going to put Bilal down. Bonfim put Randy Brown down. I think he's going to put Bilal down. Hopefully this fucking goofy makes weight, though. Kind of tired of this dude not making weight. Okay, I'm just going to read out some chats real quick. That is pretty much it, though. You know, you guys want me to break it down a little bit more, like Bilal coming off 2 consecutive losses. Bonfim coming off of like 4 straight wins. Angelusa, Chaos, Steven Thompson, Randy Brown. He also put Chaos down and then Darston, if I'm not mistaken. So Bilal 37. Yeah, bro. Shout out Bilal for getting that belt when he did, though. Bonfim only 28. That's crazy. Let's do our picks for this right now, though. Allen Subby, especially with how close Allen's fight. Oh, I read that. You think Connor's beating my man McGregor? Perry. Did I say that? That's my bad. I meant to say you think Connor's beating my man Max. Double World says I miss when these streams were popping. I miss when you weren't in these streams. Gravy says Edmund looked good lately, but I don't know. Hopefully he don't train at Glendale with Edmund anymore. No, he does. Edmund doesn't train with Edmund. He used to train with Ronda, old coach. No, actually, Hamza was training with Edmund Shabazian, and look how bad his, you know, look what happened. Hamza was training with Edmund Shabazian. So if anything, Brendan Allen probably got work in with Edmund Shabazian more recently. Oh no, wait, not Edmund Shabazian, right? That's this dude, Edmund Taverdian. Hold on. We're going to 2 Edmonds. Edmund Taverdian, Ronda Rousey's coach, who went famous for being like head movement. He was working with Hamza on boxing for the fight with Strickland. And it makes sense because that's Arman Sarukian's boxing coach, actually. Arman uses that guy because Arman's Armenian and Arman's from LA, which is the same thing for Edmund, not to be mistaken with Edmund. Anyway, so if anything, right, if Brendan Allen was just training with Hamza and Edmund Taverdian was training Hamza, there's a chance that that the trainings could have overlapped, and Brendan Allen probably got a few rounds in with Taverdian, you know, which is crazy. So I think if anything, Taverdian was helping, you know, the op for this fight camp. He used to train with Ronda. Dang, Bryce fighting. Yeah, I missed this. Bryce is a real black belt. He is. What's up, Jacob and crew? What up, AD? Puma will get way too aggressive as soon as he lands a few punches, and Bryce will put him on his ass quick. Yeah, let's see it play out, Shiloh. I got respect for Luna. So I'm not gonna say that like Luna's just gonna get blindsided by a takedown. What I saw from Luna is he's a pretty good fighter. So I don't think anything easy is coming in this fight. That's what I'm gonna say. I don't think anything easy is coming in this fight for any guy. I think that it's a good matchup. I think it's a tough fight for both guys, and I don't think anything easy is coming. So I would kind of disagree with the put him on his ass quick. I would kind of disagree, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm just kind of speaking about it ahead of time. Bryce reminds me of a new age Jim Miller. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like a post-internet Jim Miller. Wait, is this a good Bonfim brother? Yeah, this is the good one. This is the good one. One of the two Bonfim bros is better than the other. I always confuse the two. Nah, this is the good one. This is the good one. Jacob Bryce is definitely a good fighter, but after the Ilya fight, he was never the same. I know people like to say that. I know people like to say that, AD. But what you mean exactly? What you mean exactly? Because he knocked the fuck out of Kron, right? He also beat Dan Ige. Yeah, he got knocked out by Josh Emmett. It happens, bro. It happens. Gene Silva, he's pretty good. Gene is pretty good. But then he beats Saeed Nurmagomedov unanimously. I kind of disagree, AD. Again, I'm a disagree. He's fought 5 times after Ilya, and he's 3-2. Never the same. He's losing to good guys. Let's be real, Josh Emmett's a good fighter. And I think Bryce took that fight under unfavorable circumstances. But like beating Dan Ige is no joke and shit. Wow, bro, why so mean? Because I'm a mean guy. Jacob, does Bryce have the right coach to guide him if he is to make a run at his weight class? Oh, I mean, like we ought to limit our expectation. Like make a run. A run as in what? A title run? Just don't even put that in the same sentence with Bryce Mitchell. We're not talking about Bryce Mitchell becoming a future champion by any means. He might become one, but we're just not really talking about it. Like, I don't think that's where our focus is on with Bryce Mitchell in his career, right? I just don't think that's where we're at with Bryce Mitchell in his career. I could be very critical, but I'm just telling you what I think. Like, I think not necessarily. And I'd even say he probably doesn't have the right coach, AD, to answer your question bluntly. He probably doesn't have the right coach to make a run. But I mean, he's good. I feel like by me trying to answer the question, AD, it's coming off like it's Chris, and I don't really have anything to criticize with Bryce. I'm not here to say anything about his coaches. I'm really not. Tuxedo goes, I miss when we had Miata Boy and no double idiot. I know, me too. Bryce striking will never be world class, but he'll be a solid gatekeeper. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I think a little bit more than a gatekeeper. I think a top contender. Gatekeeper implies like top 15 type shit. I would say, he's like a top 5 gatekeeper. And you don't really use the word gatekeeper for the top 5, bro. Also, I would just say, I'm just going to shoot in the dark right here. I'm not even going and reading off of anybody else's chat, but I'm going to shoot in the dark and just say that Bryce Mitchell suffers from the same shit people do to Sean Strickland. Listen, just because this guy's like opinionated, just because this guy says shit, don't let that make you think less of him. That's all I really got to say is like, a lot of people just want to chalk Bryce up to be just nothing. And he's something and he's somebody. And yeah, he might say crazy things, but that has nothing to do with fighting. And that's something a lot of MMA fans need to get through their heads is that like, what Bryce does outside the cage, what he believes in, has nothing to do with fighting, And I see the same thing happening to Strickland. Just because we're on this topic, I just want to read it real quick because, I just want to say this. Sometimes I read comments and they get to me and shit. So let's read this one. So, I made this video and I said like UFC's biggest star, Sean Strickland, is getting underpaid and should leave the UFC to go box Jake Paul, right? And then I had somebody comment, little know-it-all bitch. I'm kidding. Anyway, somebody commented and they said Sean isn't close to being the biggest star in UFC, so this title is very misleading to the casual audience. And it's like, no, actually, what you're trying to do, right? What you're accusing me of doing, misleading the casual audience, is what you're trying to do. You're trying to fucking bring down Sean's light, so to speak, like everybody does, because they just are on some weird ass shit. So I'll read it to you again, but he says Sean isn't close to being the biggest star in the UFC, so this title is very misleading to the casual audience. Once again, your sentence is very misleading to the casual audience because Sean is the biggest star in the UFC right now. And I said Sean is the UFC's biggest star in 2026, hands down, and he's also the biggest American star in the promotion. People don't want to admit this because he's so controversial, but that in itself is why he is the biggest star. Being the best fighter, Ilya in Islam, doesn't mean you're the biggest star. And then someone else comments, they go, Sean is by far the biggest star. Just because you don't like him, don't take away facts with your bullshit, bro. And so that's what I think about Bryce Mitchell a little bit. I think people don't like Bryce and they take away from him. I'm not speaking to anybody. I'm just saying what I think. And I think people don't like Bryce and they take away from him, you know? And I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that with Strickland either. Strickland and Bryce kind of are suffering from a bit of the opposite. Bryce, he's so outlandish with his takes that people take away from his fighting skills. They dwindle him down to a bad fighter. They'll use, some of the losses, right? But with Sean, they just don't acknowledge him as a big star in the promotion. You can't deny him that he's a good fighter, right? Because he's a two-time champion. He beat Hamzat. So it's like they'll move the goalpost and they'll say he's not a big star though. And it's like he is a big star. He is a big star. And just because he's not the best fighter pound for pound, he is a big star. And then someone else commented, they go, who's bigger than Ilya? None of the other champs have his numbers. Yeah, someone else goes, who would be bigger at the moment? He literally just won the belt again, beating an undefeated terrorist adjacent type. He's by far the most popular fighter today. Maybe not in 6 months, but that's because most people are soft and can't stand how he keeps it real. So this person even saying, Strickland won't even be the biggest star 6 months from now, not because he's not the biggest star, but because people can't stand how he keeps it real. And I'm just going to leave that there for you guys. I'm just going to leave that there. Anyone saying Sean Strickland isn't the biggest star in 2026, I think you should look yourself in the mirror and do some serious soul searching, because your inability to acknowledge Strickland as the biggest star in 2026, there's something wrong with you. And I love you. If you're somebody who watches and I just said that to you, I don't take it back. But shit, I still got love for you. But I need to correct that narrative. So I think the same thing happens to Bryce. A lot of people always want to dwindle down Bryce. And, I'm rocking with Bryce this weekend. How about that? We rocking with Bryce. And, it's things like solid gatekeeper and shit from Shiloh. No offense, Shiloh. But it's like, that's why that's one of the reasons why I kind of like that sparked my thought. Because why are we talking about Bryce like he's a gatekeeper? You're like rushing him down, bro. And this guy's 18-3. Like he's got 3 losses in his career. He's pretty fucking good. What's his record in the UFC? Can't even see. Whatever Bryce's UFC record is, I don't fucking know. But that all needed to be said. I kind of want to read chats, but I'm just gonna do this picks real quick because I want to get this over with. I'm gonna go Bond theme. Tough pick. Tough pick. I'm gonna go the old head decision. I'm going old dog decision. We're going Shabazian. We're going Shabazian KO, bro. Like round 2. Freziem, Tom Nolan. I'm going Freziem. I'm going Freziem knockout. Round 2. I am going Bryce Mitchell by decision. Matt Schnell, Alessandro Costa. I'm just going to stay away. I'll go Costa, though, because Matt Schnell always loses. Probably Costa by knockout. Oh, yeah, left hook to the liver. I say 2 rounds, knockout in 2 rounds. Iwo Barnowski versus Junior Tafa. Oh, well, I mean, easy, right? Iwo, first round, knockout. This is the easiest money of the night. Marcus McGee, John Giannis, same thing. Knockout, first round. Bruno Silva, Edgar Chairez. We're going Chairez. And we're going, what's his recent? He got sub, split decision win, lost to Josh Van UD, sub Lacerda. This dude is a black belt, so he doesn't really get sub too often. I'm going to go Chairez decision. Chelsea Chandler, Priscilla Cachoeira. I mean, shit, who the fuck knows? These girls are brick houses. I'm going to stay away from that. Jordan Levitt, Joe Anderson Brito. I'm going to Brito. Can Brito finish Levitt? No, I think it's going to go decision. Ariane Konerlewski. I don't even know. I'm going to stay away from that one. Okay, let's save the picks. I'm a 3rd degree white belt on my picks. Last week, we only got 2 wrong, so we do be cooking on these picks for anyone wondering. My stats. Anyway. I'm so behind on. Oh, shit, wait. Tux dropped a dono. Tux, thank you for the $5 dono. Sorry for the late response. Tux says, double words, hunched over right now on his phone in the McDonald's employee break room toilet, hating from the stall. That's exactly what he's doing. Or he's like, fucking just like working at the grocery store or something, making his rounds, mopping the aisles and shit, and he's like taking a shit in the bathroom from bagging groceries. Double Worlds is either a McDonald's employee or like an Albertsons bag boy. I can't tell which one. But shout out Tux, thank you for the $5 dono, homie. I got distracted and I started just ranting. Jacob, look at the fight card. Is there any new fighters we generally are looking out for? I don't know the reason Brand Risk and other venues have more interest from fans. No, there's nobody we're really looking out for, AD, other than Santiago Luna, Bryce Mitchell. You know, these types of guys, right? If you want me to tell you who we're looking out for, it's Freziem, it's Bryce Mitchell, it's Santiago Luna, right? Iwo Barnowski, but you got to be a hardcore fan to know about that. We are looking out for Edgar Chairez because homie throws up the set every time, right? And that just goes to the brand risk part. You know, get a little gimmick going. Get something where fans like to ride behind you. No Diddy. And it's like, you know, Edgar Chairez throwing up the set every time. It's good enough for me, bro. I fuck with this dude. And that's about it. That's about it, AD. So that's actually a great question. Jacob, what I mean is that before Ilya fight, Bryce believed he was invincible. Oh, yeah. Well, because he hadn't really lost yet, right? So I get it, AD. I get it. Jacob, could Bryce be top 5? Yes. Yes, he could, AD. He's got 6 minutes left on break. Got to make him count. I hear you, Jacob. Shout out to AD. What happened to Miata Boy? I think he just works more now. Yeah, Jacob on point. Bryce is a solid fighter, and what he does outside doesn't affect my opinion of him as a fighter. Shout out to AD. Good shit. Good shit. Space Kid says Miata Boy with the crying face. Miata Boy's why you Miata Boy, I know he watches these streams too on the back end, and he always gets gassed up when you guys just be name dropping him like this. Shout out Miata Boy. I know you're gonna see it. Hell no, Strickland is definitely one of the top actors, meant top attractions of the UFC. Strickland has fostered a larger audience outside the UFC because he is a personality and speaks his mind. No, AD, you're on point, homie. You're on point. And the fact that you can say that means that you're not a hater. Not saying, you know, I'm just saying. A lot of people can't say that. Nobody in the chat. I'm just saying. Bro, Hamzat was never good. You were never good, Double Worlds. Eric says, with Strickland, the personality works in his favor because it makes fans forget how boring his fighting style actually is. I mean, to some degree, Eric, to some degree, there's a little bit of truth to that. But, yeah, the whole fighting style thing, we don't need to get into it, but it's a very subjective thing, right? People call Ian Gary boring, and I get it. But there's boring and then there's technical. And I would put it like this, right? I will take a Sean Strickland fight over somebody who evades from fights any day of the week. Like, Strickland doesn't run away, you know? Strickland doesn't do nothing. Yeah, you know, his offense might be a little bit leave more to be desired, right? We can say that. That's 100%. Sean's offense usually leaves a bit more to be desired. But, like, there's guys who have no offense at all. There's guys who are afraid to throw first. There's guys who back up. I mean, Strickland did back up for a large majority of time against Hamzat, but you guys twist up that narrative, making it seem like, oh, he backed up the whole time. No, bro. No. There was times where he did sit on his punches and, you know, put it on Hamzat. But he fucking had a bad shoulder and shit. So, like, I don't know. But yeah, I'll just say that, like, I'm not the biggest person to be like Sean's a boring guy. I know that that's a big narrative too. But you know, Sean's pretty good, man, and I don't really know how to put it other than that, but it's like, yeah, he might be boring. It's like this. Two things can be true, right? Sean might be a little bit boring. Yeah. Like, I get it, but he's also pretty good, bro, and he's pretty fucking hard to hit. And, you know, he's able to hit his guys, you know, and or his opponents, right? He's able to hit his opponents. And there's something to that. There is something to that. People thought Floyd was boring. Let's put it like this. People thought Floyd was boring when he turned into Pretty Boy. Or no, there was Pretty Boy Floyd and then there was Money Mayweather, right? Pretty Boy Floyd was getting the knockouts. Money Mayweather was technical. I was never a person who said Money Mayweather's boring because it's like, bro, this dude is fucking technical as hell. Technical as hell. So I think Strickland suffers from some of that too. Sometimes when you're able to nullify your opponent so much, you get backlash for it. And, like, I think there's something to be said for being able to nullify an opponent. Jacob, did you see the Mighty Mouse YouTube show with GSP? Shit is cool. I actually didn't see it, AD. 2026 question mark, maybe early 2025. You talking about Strickland, Space Kid? Strickland is the biggest star in 2026, bro. Space Kid, don't even debate me on that one, homie. That's a losing argument right there. Nobody wants to debate me that Strickland isn't the biggest star in 2026 right now. No one wants to debate me on that. Bryce isn't a gatekeeper. He's a doormat sweeper. Donut sweeper. Is that a compliment? Doormat sweeper? Yes, Edmund. Marab wants Henry at Raf, but I don't think Raf gives Henry another match because he pulled out twice. Oh, yeah, Henry did pull out twice. LFG Bryce. I know Bryce better than everyone here. He's a solid gatekeeper, guys. Shiloh. Unless he wants to go down to Thailand for a few years, but even if he did, I just don't think his brain comprehends kickboxing. No, yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Bryce doesn't need to learn to strike more. He should just keep doing what he's been doing. Zombie Girl. A gatekeeper can be anyone in the top 15 or even out of it. Shiloh, no, that's not true, bro. That is, what? Gatekeeper can be anyone in the top 15. A gatekeeper is the person who like borders along the top 15 ranking. So yeah, you might be able to be out of the top 15, but you're not really a gatekeeper when you're out of the top 15. Like you kind of are, but it's mostly like, you know, the 15 ranked guy is usually the gatekeeper. LMAO, shout at me, auto boy, he out there. That boy out there for sure. Sean, good homie. Yep, it's up for debate. LOL. Star, we got Volk, Ilya, Patty. Space Kid, you think Volk, Ilya, and Patty are bigger stars than Strickland in the Big 26? I'm just saying, Strickland is the biggest star in the promotion from January to fucking May, bro. And that's just a fact. That's just a fact, bro. Sean is the biggest star this year, and anyone who wants to disagree with that, you know, it's just not going to work. Patty lost to Gaethje. You know what I'm saying? He's coming off a loss to Gaethje. He's not the biggest star. You know, Ilya has not fought since beating Charles, and Ilya is like a foreigner, bro. He's not like the biggest star like people make him out to be, honestly. And then Volk, oh my god, oh my gosh, Space Kid, spare me, spare me, Space Kid. Volk's not the biggest fucking star, bro. Volk is like, you know, he's a star and he's cool, but it's like, guys, do you know what a star is? Do you? You know, a star isn't necessarily the most glazed, man. A star is not necessarily the most glazed. A star is somebody who could take nothing and turn it into something. Okay? He could take nothing and turn it into something. He got the personality. He got the fight style. Volk's cool. But he a little goofy. I'm not going to lie about it. He's a little goofy. He's a little corny. You know, he's a little bit like, you know, it's too suave with it. It comes off kind of weird. You know, Strickland is just like us. Strickland's just like us, man. And Strickland can take anything and make it into something. Strickland, you know, when we go to the post-fight press conferences, when we go to the pre-fight press conferences, when we go to the media days, who's getting the biggest numbers? You know, who draws in the most numbers? DDP ? DDP ain't even fought this year, Space. DDP ain't even fought this year. DDP lost to Hamzat. Strickland just beat Hamzat. And you don't think that doubles up his name a little bit? Hamzat's the biggest. DDP's a bigger star. No, he's not. Hamzat was arguably Hamzat guaranteed is a bigger star than fucking DDP, bro. No one's saying, yo, we watching DDP's next fight? When's DDP fighting? No, they say when's Strickland fighting? When's Hamzat fighting? I like watching these guys fight. And Strickland just beat Hamzat. Took his O. The scariest guy in the promotion. That's star power. You're the scariest dude. DDP not even close to a bigger star. In what world? Honestly, in what world? Like I said, take the pre-fight press conferences. Take the Octagon interviews. Sean's the biggest star, bro. How much was Sean's post-fight interview discussed? How much was Sean's post-fight press conference discussed? Right? Ariel made viral headlines, national headlines out of it. Everybody making national headlines. You don't squash the beef, blah, 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 blah. What was the conversation about Volk's last win? We don't even remember. Yo, turn on that jab and teeps. Now, I know, but shit, that's what you want to dwindle him down to. You know, we're not going to dwindle Sean down to jabs and teeps, bro. Jabs and teeps all you want. He beat Hamzat. He beat Hamzat. Jabs and teeps all you want. He beat Hamzat. Jabs and teeps all you want. He beat Hamzat. And he put massive right hands on Hamzat. And you know he did. Space. And you know he did. And you know it. So it's like we could play the game, but we could play the game, but it's just disingenuous, I would say. You know, I'll say it one more time. Take the Octagon interviews, bro. Take the pre-fight interviews, take the press conferences. Nobody's doing more numbers than Sean. Nobody's doing more numbers than Sean. And if they are doing more numbers than Sean, it's on some like just different shit in general. You have to keep in mind that you have to also keep this in mind. Nobody wants to big up Sean, right? Nobody really wants to big up Sean. So the fact that he's able to so he doesn't just automatically get posted like that. Versus the guys who don't really piss anybody off, they do automatically get posted. The Volks, the Ilias of the world, they do automatically get posted because they don't piss anybody off. But you really think, right, that with Sean's takes, he doesn't have like 30-40% of the media shadow banning him and he still goes viral? Like that needs to be understood. Like on a deeper level, I think you guys need to understand the star power argument. Consider that. Sean talks shit on Muslims and Jews. You think that they want to post him and big up his name on their platform? No, they don't actually. But Sean still goes viral. And just consider that right there. But Sean still goes viral. Do you think Muslims and Jews are actively trying to not post Volkanovski or Ilya? No, they could give two shits, right? Ilya or Volk have never dissed them. But like I'm just telling you, Sean's the biggest star, man. Sean is the biggest star. Okay, let's kind of I'm a star. Yeah, I'm a star. Let's get into this take real quick. I'm not even gonna lie. I kind of pulled MMA Joey on this one. This is just like taking something completely unrelated and just putting my own spin on it. It's actually hilarious. So this is it basically. This is the post. This is what everybody clicked in for. Kai Asakura. What did I say again? What was the caption on the post? I said something along the lines of Kai Asakura confirms UFC forced him to fight at Flyweight, right? And here's the post. Kai Asakura says he wishes he went straight to bantamweight when he first joined the UFC. Quote, "You produce more power and don't lose as much muscle. My weight is heavier and my speed is faster at bantamweight." So this is just proof. I was okay. So you're telling me if you had free tickets to Ilya or Strickland, you're going Strickland? That's a good question, bro. That's a good question. I mean, okay, Space Kid. Let's play the game, Space Kid. Let's play the game. You get free tickets to Strickland versus Hamzat, or you get free tickets to Strickland versus Justin Gaethje. Which one you going to? Free tickets to Strickland versus Hamzat or free tickets to Ilya versus Gaethje. Which one you going to? Or let's even take it another step. I'll give you two options. Free tickets to Strickland versus Hamzat or free tickets to Ilya versus Charles Oliveira. Sean can be a really entertaining fighter when he turns it on. He's really fun to watch. He's just really careful in there, and it's annoying. It is kind of annoying, but I don't mind it that much. And you guys can have your opinions and I can have mine. Now, as much as the MMA media hates what he says, they can't wait for Sean to open his mouth and give them their headlines. I feel you, Eric. I feel you. But something tells me that like Muslims don't want to promote what he says against them. You feel me on that? But yeah, also the gays don't want to post about him, things like that. Strickland, LOL, I'll catch the Ilya on replay. Gravy says he wants to watch Strickland too. Yeah. Tony says, I like Ilya more, but I think more people know Shawnee Boy. Yeah. Space Kid says, sure. Shout out Space Kid for sending some jewels. Shout out Shiloh for sending some jewels. Shout out Andrew for sending some jewels. Giving it at the White House, I'm talking treat. You're talking nothing I understand, double dummy. Gravy says, I like Sean a lot. He's exactly what the UFC needs right now. Facts. Andrew says facts as well. Eric says, MMA fans don't seem to understand that it's the casuals who determine who a star is in the sport. Eric, I mean, Eric, I've been telling people that for like at least 6 months now. It's crazy, but that's one of the original kind of takes we had on the stream. Is I was like, guys, you need to realize, like, it's not about. Sometimes it's a little bit of a blurring of the lines, right? You want to get the best guy who the people at the bar who don't watch UFC every weekend know about, and that's the art of the UFC, right? There's always the best next guy up, right? But a lot of times the best next guy up is somebody that people don't know. And then a notch below it is like, the guy that everybody knows, but he's not necessarily the next guy up. And it's like that will oftentimes drive who the champion fights next, is who's more well known. Right? You're both great fighters. You're number one, you're number two, but who's more well known? And that's what determines who a star is in the sport. You guys are right. But no, I was just basically saying this Kai Asakura thing. For those that don't know, I'll tell you guys one more time. I've been saying this because Kai moved up to 135 for his last fight against some guy, that guy who fainted and shit. Anyway, knocked this dude out in the first round. So after the fight, I was like, Kai Asakura, he should have signed to the UFC at 135, but knowing the UFC, they forced him to sign at 125, or they would have told him to get lost because they wanted to, have him fight Pantoja. And then they made him fight again at 25. How many fights did he have at 25, by the way? He was 0-2 in the UFC or what? Yeah, he suffered 2 losses in the UFC, both at 25. And I just think that the UFC forced him to fight at 25. Because if you look at his last fight in Ryzen, it was at 35. He was already at bantamweight in Ryzen, and he was the champion at 35. I don't know about the second to last one. Yeah, second to last fight at Ryzen was bantamweight as well. 2023, right? I mean, let's see the third to last fight. Bantamweight. So this is proof. And I had already looked into this when I was speaking about it. Fourth to last. Fifth to last. Kai Asakura hadn't made flyweight. See, this is the UFC, though. They just love these knockouts and shit. They're kind of evil with it. But Kai Asakura had not made... We're still looking to see what the last time he made flyweight. Now, you guys are seeing this, right? Kai Asakura had not made flyweight in quite some time. Okay, so Kai Asakura hadn't made flyweight since 2017 before signing with the UFC. So just understand that. Kai Asakura didn't make 125 pounds since 2017. Then in 2024, he signs with the UFC and he's forced to cut an extra 10 pounds to 125. He wants his opportunity in the UFC, as the UFC knows. So, they put him, in a hard place and they made him do it. And this is just proof because he goes on and he says, you produce more power and don't lose as much muscle. My weight is heavier and my speed is faster at bantamweight. So, he's very happy. He's very happy he's back up at bantamweight. And the UFC forced him. The UFC forced him to fight at 125. The UFC would not have signed him at 135. I'm telling you guys that. I'm just telling you guys. And it's not Kai Asakura. I put words in his mouth, low key. But I'm telling you guys, bro. Kai Asakura getting stopped twice is because of the weight cut. And the UFC loves to see good knockouts, and that's why they make these guys cut weight. Okay, so Space goes, but what's getting highlighted more, his fighting or antics? I would say both, Space. Bro, you don't think that his fight with Fluffy Hernandez stopping his ass wasn't highlighted? And then he gets on the mic afterwards and he just goes in on Aspen Ladd's coach or Aspen Ladd's husband, Fluffy's coach. I mean, Space, come on, bro. I feel like I just cooked right there. You go, what's getting highlighted more, his fighting or his antics? Both. Both, bro. Bro, I don't even give a shit. You guys can nitpick the Hamzat win all you want. He beat Hamzat, the straight boogeyman, and the guy who dominated, the guy who beat him twice. You know, I don't care. You guys can pick all the holes you want, poke all the holes you want in Sean Strickland's recent wins and shit like that. It's not gonna work, bro. And that's what I've been trying to explain, though. That's what I've been trying to explain is that, like, this is nothing new to Sean. And I'm not saying anybody who's poking holes, right, is like okay, if you're somebody who's poking holes, I'm not saying you're one of these people who's trying to be a Sean hater. I'm not. Okay, I'm aware that you guys might just not see it, right? Space Kid said, I just don't see the vision. So that's fair enough. You know, I'm not calling you a Sean Strickland hater, so don't get that part twisted. There are Sean Strickland haters out there though, but I'm not trying to come at you guys in that form. With that being said, let me say what I want to say, which is that, like, you know, you can poke all the holes you want. It's not going to work. Sean is already, you know, he's already made it in. You know, he's already like in this bitch. And yeah, you guys can poke all the holes you want. But as a matter of fact, like, that's part of the reason why, like, he is where he is, because like you guys can poke all the holes and he's still in this conversation of the biggest star in the UFC, thanks to me, of course. But like, you know, I'm just saying, like, poke all the holes you want and he's still in that conversation. He's still right there. You know, Sean has essentially like broken the system, bro. You cannot keep this dude down. He got the hack. He cracked the code. You know, what do you want to call it? He got the unpatched method, bro. The Sean Strickland's method is unpatched. You know, there's no getting around it. There's just no getting around it. You can't keep him down. That's why I was like reading you guys the comments saying, like, people have this natural instinct to keep Sean down. And with that natural instinct, right, that didn't just happen 6 months ago. There's been a natural instinct to keep Sean down, the type of guy that he is. Let's just put it in simple terms. Sean's not industry, right? Sean is not industry, bro. And so when you're not industry, people don't really want to big up you. And the fact that Sean has made it this far, being not industry, it's over with. You guys got to give it up. You know, you can't dwindle the star power anymore. You just better hop on the train, because this train is going whether you like it or not. He got the unpatched method. You know, he's the biggest star in the UFC right now, despite nobody wanting him to be there. And that's the thing people don't really fathom. That's what I've been trying to say. Sean is the biggest star in the UFC, despite nobody wanting him to be there. Nobody woke up and said, I want Sean to be the biggest star in the UFC. I'm telling you, because he angers a lot of people, because he's so outspoken. Bro, I was scared for Smotherman seeing that shit. Yeah. The UFC loves good knockouts, what you just said 2 seconds ago. I'm hearing you, though. Yeah, Space. I got you, homie. Space, you know I wish I could say I'm hearing you. But it's like, when you say DDP is a bigger star over Strickland, I ain't hearing that, homie. I ain't fucking hearing it. And when you say Patty a bigger star than Strickland, I ain't hearing it. But I love you, homie. And it's a good debate. It's a good debate. I actually respect you, you know, putting your balls on the table, Space, no Diddy, and debating me about it. According to performances and accomplishments, Sean is the hottest UFC topic right now, says Barcella. Come on now. It's not even a debate, bro. After the White House, it will be different. And it'll be different because nobody's in a rush to keep Sean in this spot that he's in. I'm going to keep saying it. You know, does that make sense? Yeah, they're going to blow right past Sean because no one's in a rush to keep him up here. Right? But look what Ilya had. But listen to this, right? Listen to this. Look what Ilya hasn't done. Ilya has not fought since in about a year, right? And everyone's still like, but Ilya's still the best. But Ilya's still the best. Guarantee you, bro. As soon as White House is over with, everyone's acting like Sean's not the biggest star anymore. But this is what I've been explaining, and I'm not going to keep going over it. If you haven't got it yet, you're probably never going to get it. So I don't need to explain it like a 7th different way. But that is what I keep explaining, is the simple concept. You know, Sean, as soon as UFC White House is wrapped, You know, Ilya's back to being the biggest star. And in fact, a lot of you guys want to keep Ilya in this situation as being the biggest star, despite not fighting at all in this new Paramount era. You know? So everyone gonna rush to keep Ilya the biggest star, and they're still doing it right now. And Ilya has not fought since like June of last year. UFC should just let him leave, TBH. Yeah, they should. Okay, Shiloh. Now we cooking. Now we talking. Now you're seeing what I'm seeing. UFC should let Sean go fight Jake Paul in boxing. They should. Wait, I bookmarked this because this is funny as hell. You guys seen this kid? This kid's blowing up on social media. De Biga. How he says this is like insane. De Biga. It's like, bro, does everything end in an H with you? Hold on.
Yeah, that bit tough. That big guy.
Oh yeah, appreciate you, buddy. Yes, sir.
This is the stupidest trend on the internet, by the way.
That big guy.
Oh yeah, appreciate you, buddy. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Space Kid says, I really like Strickland over Ilya. Really, Space Kid? I mean, Space Kid, what the hell? Really?
That big guy.
Oh yeah,
That's not what I got out of that, but shit, if you like Strickland over Ilya, then I love it too. You know my stance. Andrew says, Space Kid dropped his nuts tonight, LFG. Yeah, he did drop his nuts. He put his nuts on the table, and you know what? You always got to respect it. So, respect to Space Kid. UFC should just let him leave. Oh, I already read that one. Sorry. It could be Gaethje. What does that mean? It's crazy seeing the responses to Strickland winning. Yeah, I know, Shiloh. Mexican martial arts couldn't stop talking about him for like 3 weeks. I hope it was positive. LFG Space, my man Space. LOL. It's annoying when they do the eat the street food because they're always making a mess and fucking up their clothes like they never learned how to eat. This is funny ass shit though. I gotta keep it real. This is funny as fuck. Oh my god, buyer seller, don't be rude, homie. Come on, I ain't even gonna read that one. I love Space too much to read that one. I'm just doom scrolling.
Аккуратней, Саид, аккуратней. Хорошо! Добей его, добей, да! Вот еще. Аккуратнее.
That wasn't that bad of a ground and pound punch. Shane Burgos is coming back after 2.5 years out of the sport. That's cool. Andrew, send some jewels. Thank you, homie. Much appreciated, homie. Wait.
You can talk to me.
No, AB, come on, bro. Chill out.
I'm on
Shout out AB. This is a crazy trend, though. What the hell's going on with this pineapple goofy shit? Kool-Aid pineapple?
My boy trying the strawberry kiwi. Yeah.
100 out of 10.
100 out of 10.
Fuck with my nigga Steve.
Come on now.
Fuck with my nigga.
Ooh. The juice always gonna do it, I'm telling you. Hey, you can put your juice on some ice. You can mix that shit with some liquor. I'm mixing with some liquor.
I seen this girl. She deep throats this. Watch this.
Oh, show us that pineapple.
Bro, she takes the whole thing.
I see that. Ooh, that motherfucker good too. Oh, you wrong for that. You. Look. Ooh, that motherfucker good too. Oh, you wrong for that.
Oh, she said you're wrong for that.
What they doing?
It's fine.
I'm telling y'all, come grab him. Honest review right here.
They pay like $100 for this or something. It's straight up fucking Kool-Aid powder in a jar of pineapple spears from Costco. Straight pineapple spears in their juice from Costco. These people literally pop the top, put Kool-Aid powder in there and shake it up and sell it for like $100. That's the word on the street. This shit costs like 100. My God. Damn. Andrew, don't get no ideas, homie. Let's just keep watching.
Kool-Aid busting.
Ready?
I don't taste liquor.
Watch me.
See what I mean? It's just pineapples in the juice, bro. Like, what the hell?
I don't know nobody selling no pineapple to me, boy. Tell him, boy, I put that work in, boy. It real deal crack. Told you. Told you. Now I showed you.
Told you. Now I showed you. An IQ too high. Yeah, shit, that's some like elite level IQ. It's a massive come up. Islam ready to fight in August. Alex in June. Connor in July. Islam in August. Crazy summer. That's what I've been telling you guys. This person says he finally fucking won and he finally looked like himself. Yeah, because he was being forced to cut to 125. Retards will buy anything. I bet they actually make a lot of money. No, they do. I ain't eating that red 40 water. Yeah, I know. I know. Me neither, buyer seller. Fuck that red 40 water. You already know. Fuck that red 40 water. Some Jackson, Mississippi shit. That's some like, I couldn't even tell you what that is. This is a good question. People go, should a guy with this physique first cut or bulk? I don't think he should bulk. He got enough bulk on him. He should just start lifting and then cut after a little bit. But you know, the thing a lot of people deal with when they start losing weight is they don't like how they look. They think they look real scrawny. And it's because, yeah, you got a lot less muscle under there than you think. You know, you actually need to pack it on. Shout out Space for dropping some more gold coins. Much appreciated, my man. Okay. I stuck on for another 5 minutes just to see if there's anything, and there's just not. So I'm gonna get off.
Go back the other way. Blood pressure. These motherfuckers is so retarded. I'm about to punch a motherfucker, I swear to God. Hey, go back.
You get high blood pressure for nothing, nigga.
Go back the other way.
Blood pressure up, nigga. High clear up. What we doing, bro? Real, bro. Your shit pumping, nigga. You sweating, bro.
Well, fuck you, nigga.
Fuck you, nigga.
I'll fight
I
right
don't want
now.
to play, nigga. I don't want to play this game, nigga. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Don't stimulate me. Respect talk about me, nigga. Respect talk. I don't care about my feelings, bitch. I want to be here.
Because you mad you a dumb bitch.
Don't
and you can't
disrespect
understand
Cub.
shit.
Don't fucking disrespect Cub. And
Dumb
don't
bitch.
touch Cub. Don't touch Cub.
Go back to the
Touch
left.
Cub, we're gonna jump you. Don't touch Cub.
Man, that's 2 punches I don't give a fuck about.
Respect Cub.
That's just 2 punches I wouldn't give a fuck about.
You lock in, bro. Can we go? Nigga, nigga.
These motherfuckers is so retarded. I'm about to punch a motherfucker.
Deep Water tomorrow with DP Masvidal UFC talk show. Okay, we could tap into that tomorrow. Everyone too focused on did big guy to hear dab big tuh. What the hell? 25% celebrities working a 9 to 5, recording their whole lives. Space or buyer seller. That's actually like a. When you put it like that, it is kind of true.
Go. Dude. Better get it, fuck, nigga. See, cut nigga ain't moved once. Bro, dumb. Cut dumb. See, cuz nigga ain't move once. Hey, Bro, dumb. Cuz dumb.
Not enough commentary on the fork holding technique. This kid's a living legend. Dad Big Ga. Oh, interesting. They say Ilya Topuria organized a funeral-themed event with photos of his last 4 opponents there. The White House, a white rose, and a nap in its gardens. Not many can say that, Justin. Oh, interesting. Not lore accurate, Strickland, LOL. That was solid on Space Kid. Strickland putting the beats on Gorlock. Oh, this is an update. Fucking I mean, maybe we can still get the Darren Till interview this week, but I did reach out to Darren and he never responded, but I'm sure he'll get back to me. It's just like right after the win, you know? But Darren actually always opens up my DMs, so I think he'll get back to me later this week. Okay. Oh, Lane of the Plug. I'm not even gonna read that fucking brain dead ass shit.
Oh, man.
Oh shit!
No,
They
man.
Instagram guy.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
We got to, nigga. I came from spam and eggs, so I got to show them
I
this.
love spam. Spam is fantastic.
Shit, I love spam too. I came up on spam and eggs too. All right, boys, that's it. That's it. Who knows what that is? All right, boys. Peace out. Peace out. Oh, Spacey says, you're going to get the new UFC game? People saying it looks like a mobile game. I mean, I'd like to maybe get it if it's good. I need to go to like GameStop and play it on their testing console or something. Andrew says W show. Shout out to Andrew. Thank you, homie. Thanks for tuning in as always, boys. I'm a shout out the streets and the dip, but Space Kid, just to definitively answer your question, I would love nothing more than to cop the new UFC game, but I will not cop it if it's that same dog shit that they've been spewing out for the last like 3 games. It needs to be back to UFC 2 with Connor and Ronda on the cover, or I won't be buying it. Okay, shout out to the streets. Shout out to the streets. Let's shout out the boys. Shout out Andrew Nance. Shout out Space Kid. Shout out Buyer Seller. Shout out Shiloh. Shout out Tony Sal. Shout out. Shout out Eric. Shout out Gravy. Shout out Finger Me. And shit, that's all I can see right now. Let me see top chat. Shout out Don Daughter. And shout out who else? Buyer Seller, I think. Shout out yeah, shout out all you boys. Shout out AD Kid. Now I'm going off the top of the dome. All right, boys. Peace out, though. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Like the stream on the way out if you didn't like the stream. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Peace out, everybody.